What's going on, everybody? This is Brant with CPC Bodybuilding, the home of men's classic physique. Today, we've got an Arnold Classic UK preview. Today, my special guest is IFBB Classic Physique Pro, 2022 Mr. USA, and 2023 Hurricane Pro Champ. Going to be making his Olympia debut this year. We got Nate Joyner with me. Nate, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on here. I'm pretty excited to, give our opinions and hopefully not, piss people off at the same time. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, always, man. So, very, very excited to get this preview rolling with Nate here. So we're going to go through the Arnold Classic UK lineup here. So we had the Arnold Classic Ohio, very similar lineup here, though it's a bit smaller. Got 7 guys here at the Arnold Classic UK coming up on Friday, March 15th. All right, guys. So like I said, previewing the Arnold Classic UK men's classic physique division today. So we've got 7 athletes and judging is entirely on Friday. So we've got pre-judging at 10 a.m. UK time and finals at 7 p.m. UK time. And again, this is Friday, March 15th. That's going to be pretty early for a lot of you guys who are in the United States. I know I'll try to be up early watching this one if there's a live stream. No word on a live stream quite yet, but I'll give you guys all the updates here and on Instagram as well once those details are dropped. So without further ado, we'll get into the lineup and feel it's only fitting to start with the Arnold Classic Ohio champion, already qualified for the Olympia this year. This is Wesley Vissers out of the Netherlands. Nate, what do you think of Wesley and what he's been able to accomplish in classic physique thus far?
I'm a pretty big fan of Wesley. I know for a while now, Wesley wasn't everybody thought Wesley wasn't getting the looks he deserved. But, I think, this past weekend at the Arnold, he kind of proved some people wrong and pretty much shook the whole classic physique industry up by coming in looking the way he did, man. He's made massive improvements, just in the past few years. And, he came in like damn near perfect, this past weekend. So I know he had issues in the past. I think a big thing was, in the recent years with Wesley is his trunks. For a while he was choosing the wrong trunks to step on stage with. That just did not make him look. It didn't really accentuate his physique at all. It almost made him look more blockier. I know he does have like more of a blockier waist, not as aesthetic as some of the other guys, but he's built the width up top, built those lats up and those shoulders, and he's on, man. He looks good. I think he's really coming into his stride. So
yeah, absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more. And I think, yeah, it's the little details like the trunks, the tan, the glaze, like everything matters at this high of a level. So
yes.
That was one of the first comments I had during the pre-judging live stream. I was like, Wesley has nailed everything today, like the glaze, the tan, and obviously the detail with the trunks. I like a lot of the trunks that have kind of the thinner like bands. So you're seeing basically all the way up the quad and getting like all of the muscles that are, inserting there at the hip. So that can definitely make a difference, especially when you're a taller guy. You want to be showing legs too. So
no, I agree. I mean, Wesley, having those higher. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good, man. I was just gonna say the detail is what really did it for me, and I think Tyler's recap, if you guys haven't watched it yet, really spoke to what Wesley brought at this show that gave him the win over Ramon, and that was detail and width, 2 things that are extremely, extremely important in classic physique. So Wesley, though his look is a bit different than some of these other guys, it's a winning look. And I'm really excited to see if he can bring it back for this one and try to repeat.
Oh, yeah, dude, 100%, man. So, I watched that video with Tyler Mannion as well. And, the way he said, like, his detail, like, the detail and the lines in his legs were just, it almost looked fake. It looked Photoshopped. Like, it was insane how detailed he was. And even from the back, the width, from the front, everything was just spot on perfect. Like him and his coach, they nailed it. The only thing that if I had to critique something on Wesley, I would say his lower half from the back. Maybe bring that up a little bit, close that gap in that back double bicep in his adductor area. But that's basically the only thing I saw with him that I was like, yeah, that could be a little bit better. But again, I'm not no, I haven't accomplished anything nearly as close to Wesley. But that's just from my point of view. What I think if he brought that up, he'd be even more of a threat. So yeah, but it is exciting to see what he. I want to see how he shakes things up at the Olympia this year. If he can bring that look back or even improve it, which he probably will with how much time he has. So it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely, man. Wesley shaking things up here in classic physique at the top, going from seventh place at the Olympia to winning the Arnold Classic. So
Yeah.
probably a nice segue into another top guy, probably the biggest threat to Wesley at this show. Urs Kalaczynski, the Miracle Bear out of Germany, finished third at the Arnold Classic. Split decision though. Breon did get some votes for third place. So there were 11 judges at the Arnold Classic Ohio, 7 of which chose Urs for third place, and then 4 of which chose Breon for third place. So it wasn't entirely a landslide victory for that third place spot for Urs. But Nate, just looking at the 4K footage from Gilco here, what do you think are some of Urs's strengths and weaknesses that he'll really have to, um, work correctly in order to have a shot at getting that title?
So obviously looking at Urs, like he's got his lower half is just, I think is damn near perfect, man. The shape of his legs, the conditioning, the lines, from the front and the back are just, they're spot on. They're amazing. His weakness is, everybody knows this, is his upper body, mainly in the arms and the shoulders. I don't know if he has enough time between now and, the Arnold UK to bring the arms up. But I think what Tyler was saying, obviously we can only judge so much from the live stream, but from what Tyler was saying in the recap video, Urs looked a little bit off. I think he still looked pretty good from the live stream, but like I said, we're not seeing what they're seeing from, in person. And you can look right there in his back double bicep. He's kind of pinching his shoulder blades together. Like he can open that up a little bit more. But yeah, his shape is great. His conditioning is usually always on point. So if he can bring that conditioning that he's known for, I think he'd have a way better shot at, taking down the champ, Wesley Vissers. But improvement wise, I think he just needs to bring up those arms and those shoulders, and this guy is just going to be the next Mr. Olympia eventually.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. He's got all the tools. It's just a matter of improving one or two body parts, and he's right there. He's a great showman. He's a great ambassador for the sport, and just definitely like a rare miss. I'd be kind of curious to see if there was anything different with the peaking process this time around, because what's kind of interesting that some people may not know is he and Wesley both have the same coach. So I would be intrigued to see. Yeah, yeah. So they both work with Stefan Kietzel, boss of Outlaw. So definitely an underrated coach in the bodybuilding space as a whole, but especially in classic. And I'm gonna probably look into this a little bit more, but I'll be kind of intrigued to see if Urs is going to be trying a different peaking method this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. We also got to keep in mind too, like Urs has been competing since the Olympia, so you got to take into account like is his body getting tired, like does he need to rest a little bit? So, because I think after a certain point, when you keep competing, pushing and pushing and pushing, and staying in that deficit, your body starts to get tired and it starts to not respond as well. So, that could be a factor. Who knows? We'll see if they can, make those improvements to the peaking process and bring that trademark conditioning he's known for.
Yeah. So we'll see, but he's definitely got his work cut out for him with going up against a 2-time Mr. Classic Physique Olympia, Breon Ansley, also a 2018 Arnold Classic champ. This will be Breon's first appearance at the Arnold Classic UK. So, like I mentioned, Breon brought an incredible package to this show. I was a huge fan of what Breon brought at this show, and just in general. It's definitely one of my favorite physiques of all time. Nate, what do you like about Breon's physique specifically?
Breon has, probably some of the best biceps in classic physique, as well as, I'm gonna die on this hill and say he probably has the best back in classic physique, especially the back double. The detail and the size and the density of his backs. Like right here, look at this. That is just dug out, man. That's a demon back. His back is insane. His legs look good from the back. I think in Tyler's video, he did the recap. He said that Breon's legs from the front look very undersized, which he mentioned, that comes with age. 'Cause I think Breon's like 43 or 42. Like he's close to the mid 30s, if not, mid 30s. But I'm a huge fan of Breon. I love his shape. He always comes in, I feel like he comes in peaked 100% like every single show he does. But I think as Father Time catches up, man, I don't know how much more he can improve or how much more he can maintain, especially in the leg department. But upper body still looks great. Shape is still there. Conditioning is still always solid. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see what he can do, this next weekend.
Yeah, I think you make a lot of great points there. And tying it all together, Breon's just complete. He's got everything that you look for in a classic physique. It's just, I think where he kind of gets overlooked in some rights is he may not have the width that Urs does, and Urs definitely takes up more space, and especially in the front shots, sometimes we can't help it. It's human nature. It's a subjective sport and whatnot. But I think sometimes there's a little bit more emphasis taken on some of the front shots than, maybe the side chest or the back double bicep when it comes to the overall impression that a physique gives. And I think Urs, in most cases, probably has better front shots. Now, I would say the exception to that would be at this Arnold Classic. I think Breon probably won the front shot simply because he was just more dialed in and also more complete. And Urs was a bit off, as we discussed before. But I think Breon really has a good shot here. This might be his last shot to really get into that top discussion, like that top 3 at this show, just because, I mean, you mentioned it, he's in his mid 40s, and I'll talk Breon up all day. He's one of my favorite bodybuilders ever. I've made that known. But Father Time does catch up to you, unfortunately. And like the leg department is one thing. It's like that's his only weakness. He's virtually perfect everywhere else, but he does need more quads. But it's like, how possible is it? And just being realistic, I don't know if he could have been any better at the Arnold Classic of Ohio. So that's why I'm like, where does he go from here? Especially if Urs was a bit off. But I really hope Breon can, bring that same package. I don't know if he can be any better, but if he's better, then, perhaps he can snag that 3rd place spot. Even surprise some people in battle with Wesley. Who knows?
No, I totally agree, man. He's a great
spot instead of 3rd.
Love Breon. Great competitor. I love him to death. But like we were talking about, Father Time catches up, and I don't know how many more chances he has to kind of, put himself in the mix, keep himself in the mix.
Yeah. So another guy not to be overlooked, given that he was top 6 at the Olympia, he's won more classic shows than anybody else in the past 2 years, which kind of gets overlooked sometimes, but he's been competing, it seems like, year round for the past couple of years. 2-time Arnold Classic UK champion, Michael DeBoule. And I hope we see him at this show. I did see on his story yesterday that he wasn't feeling too good. I think he had kind of like flu-like symptoms. And I hope we see him here because he's got a title to defend. And he's proven that he's beaten Wesley before. So he's definitely formidable. What are some of the things when looking at his physique that stand out to you, Nate?
I mean, the guy's massive. Like, look at him right here. This most muscular right here, he takes up a lot of space. He's wide, massive shoulders, massive arms. He's absolutely peeled. Great quads. I mean, the only things that me personally, I don't like on DeBoule is, his shape when he hits the front double. I mean, like from this shot right here, he looks massive. But then when you kind of like turn him to the side and like the back, I almost feel like he looks thin. If that makes sense. I feel like, I don't know how close he is to his weight cap. I don't know how hard he struggles to make weight. But I feel like maybe him trying to stay, near his weight cap, it's keeping him from having that really, really, thicker, denser, fuller look. So maybe push to open bodybuilding one day, because I feel like if he's being held back by the weight cap, let your body like flourish and thrive and move up a class. But you can't deny this guy, man. He looks great. He's always peeled. He's known for his conditioning. Great muscle bellies. He's pretty complete. Like I don't really see any weaknesses on this guy.
Yeah, you definitely make some good points there. I think a lot of people get caught up in the condition just because he's always lights out there, but he's
Yeah.
definitely balanced, proportionate. He doesn't have any body parts that you look at and say, yeah, that's, a glaring weakness, which, it can be good and bad for you. Sometimes if you don't have like a wow body part, guys may not look at you in the same regard as somebody who may have like a crazy body part, like, Breon with his back or his biceps or something like that. So it can be a favorable thing, but it can also be unfavorable in some regards. But I think DeBoel definitely deserves a lot of credit for just, I mean, he is peeled year round. Like this guy does not get out of shape.
He's
Yeah.
always stage.
Yeah. But I'll be intrigued to see what he can bring at this show. I really hope he's healthy and definitely wishing him the best heading into this show. He's on his home turf. So hopefully he can make that play out to an advantage for him. But that is Michael DeBoel. So next up, we're going to get into some of the guys who are fresher faces, guys who may not be like that first call out at the Olympia. We'll start out with Denis Romanov. He is from Russia, and he's definitely a more seasoned competitor in the IFBB. He did qualify for the 2022 Mr. Olympia by winning one of the Korea Pro shows that year. And I think he's got great structure if you look through some of these. These are from the Monster Zim Pro last year. He didn't win a pro show last year, but he's pretty consistently a first call out guy in a lot of these European and Asian shows. I don't know if he's ever actually competed over here in the United States, but making his Arnold Classic UK debut. Nate, from some of these shots, what do you notice about his physique?
I mean, the guy looks great. I think he has a great shape and a great structure. Legs look good, quads look good. I mean, I would say in this shot right here, his abs, his midsection looks a little washed out. He definitely can be a little bit denser for improvement wise. But how does his back look? How's he look from the back?
He looks pretty solid from the back. I mean, I think he could use a little bit more density.
Yeah, more density for sure.
And probably a little bit.
I would say just big. I definitely needs more back, a little bit more width. Looks pretty detailed. He's got some pretty good lat insertions. They go pretty low, and his conditioning looks good right here from the back. But yeah, I would say just more density in general.
Yeah, I think his biggest hurdle has always been he's kind of on. He's not undersized, but sometimes because he's not a super tall guy, can get outshined by some of these guys with big frames. So guys like Wesley, who are 5'10", 5'11", or in Wesley's case 6'3", they definitely hold an advantage there too. But Denis has fantastic shape. I think you hit the nail on the head. Great lines, very proportionate, very balanced.
Yeah.
I'll be intrigued to see what he can bring to this show. Definitely a very consistent competitor in men's classic physique. So that's Denis Romanov of Russia. Next up, we've got Josh Eastham out of the UK. So he's making his Arnold Classic debut as well. Definitely a guy who I think deserves a lot more credit for what he's done in his short pro career. So back in 2022, he turned pro and then won the pro show in Finland to qualify for the Olympia. So went from rookie to Olympian in just a matter of months, which is very, very impressive. And a pretty young guy, and he's made tremendous improvements. These photos are taken 9 days out, so this would have been yesterday. So looking at some of these shots, Nate, what are your first impressions of his physique?
I mean, the guy's, he looks ready for sure. Conditioning is there. I think he has a great X frame. That front double is not bad. Good biceps. His legs are good too. I think his legs are probably one of his strong points with that detail and just the fullness of them. Um, I mean, he can fix the posing just a little bit, bring up those elbows slightly higher than the shoulders to kind of give him more of a taper, make those lats look bigger. But no, the guy looks good. I'm excited to see this guy. Actually, he's got great shape. How's he look from the back?
From the back, he
Does he
looks
have any
really
back
solid.
shots?
I think perhaps maybe some posing adjustments here in the lower half. It's all there. I think great
Yeah, the
hamstrings,
lower half is solid.
um, great glutes too. I would say probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, I think that there could be more density in the back. You could say more width, but honestly, he looks wide in the front shots. So my guess is it's probably just minor posing adjustments. Um,
yeah. No,
I think
that's kind
the
of what's like at me is the density of the back. It looks undersized compared to the lower half, but that could just be one of those things we were talking about, where his strong point could be his lower half, which is kind of overpowering his upper half. But like you said, he looks great from the front. He looks wide. This could be a posing issue right here. It looks like he's almost making himself look smaller. Maybe open up those lats a little bit more, not pinch those shoulder blades together as much. But yeah, I think just a little bit more density in the back, maybe a little bit more width, and this guy's solid.
Yeah, I think I see it now. I think he's kind of tilting his pelvis out a little bit. Basically,
Yeah,
and I
he's
notice a lot
definitely.
of guys who have smaller glutes and hams do this, which I don't think he has. I don't think he needs to do this really. He could be getting more out of his back by basically, pulling his pelvis forward and squeezing the glutes and getting more out of that back, and then not necessarily leaning back, but just angling it so your back is a little bit closer to the judges. But
No, yeah, I
he's
agree.
got a
I think
fantastic physique. Oh, you go ahead, man.
oh no, I was saying I agree with what you're saying, man. I think he can push those hips forward and kind of stack them on top of each other, and just try to get more out of that back and lean, like you said, not lean back too far, but bring the hips forward. Push the glutes in a little bit and try to get more out of the back. But yeah, great shape on this guy.
Yeah, so that is Josh Eastham out of the UK. He's also coached by another IFBB pro, Darren Farrell, who just made his Arnold Classic Ohio debut. So I know Darren's going to be there
Nice.
coaching him, rooting him on. So that'll be fun to see there. But that's Josh Eastham. And our last member of the Arnold Classic UK Classic Physique lineup is Emmanuel Rigotti out of Italy. He finished in 7th at the Arnold Classic Ohio, and definitely a rising star here in classic physique. He went to the 2022 Olympia, was kind of plagued by injuries last year, and had some peaks that didn't go super well, but he's now working with and Wesley's coach, Boss of Outlaw. They just started working together for this Arnold Classic Ohio prep. So um, I know they took him from what was considered to be fat in his words back in December to uh, going to the Arnold Classic Ohio in 10 weeks. So he basically did a real quick shotgun prep and looked fantastic. Nate, what are your impressions of Emmanuel?
No, yeah, this guy stood out to me at the Arnold. I saw this guy and I was like, this guy's got great shape, man. He looks amazing. Conditioning was on point. Like as you can see here, he's got great legs. Those quads are there, man. Those are great legs. Small waist, great vacuum. He's wide, got broad shoulders. I think you give this guy a little bit more time to build that density up top, and he's gonna be a huge threat. But he's got a great shape. This guy really stood out to me at the Arnold, and I was a fan when I saw him. So yeah, that Boss of Outlaw guy's killing it, man. I know he had Wesley, he had he had this guy. I'm pretty sure his men's physique guy won the Arnold too. So this guy's on to something.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Like Emmanuel is well on his way to being
Like
a
look at that
force in
Abin thigh.
classic.
Get back to that Abin thigh. Like that's a great shot, man. I think that's gonna be one of his stronger shots right there. Like that tiny freaking waist. He's wide up top, great quads. Like that's a good shot. That's a winning shot right there, in my opinion.
Absolutely, man. And that's the ab and thigh is like generally a pose that you don't stop and say that's very impressive. So that says a lot.
If you can stand out by doing that pose, like holy shit.
Yeah. Dude looks fantastic. I think probably one area for improvement is just the back double bicep. I think he just needs more in the upper half on the back shots. But
Yeah,
it
for
looks
sure.
great.
He has higher lat insertions too. It looks like so. Try to build those lower lats as much as you can. But that waist is tiny, man. It's a great shape. It's a great taper.
Yeah. So that is Emmanuel Rigotti, and that is our entire Arnold Classic UK lineup. So we've got 7 competitors in this show. So what Nate and I are going to do is give our picks for our first call out and our second call out, then pick our winner. So Nate, as the guest, I'll give you the option. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to?
I'll go first. So, how big of a call out are we doing? Because only 7 guys. You think we just going to bring them all out at once, or they're going to do like a 3 and 4, like a 4 and 3?
So my best guess is they'll probably do a 4 and 3 or a 3 and 4 type of situation, because the Arnold Classic Ohio last year was 7 guys, and that's what they did. I think they had I want to say it was a 4-man first call out and a 3-man second call out.
Okay, so we're doing a 4-man call out. Obviously, we got to go with Wesley Vissers in there. Urs, the Bull, and Breon. Those are going to be that's going to be my first call out, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think everybody can make that call, and then then the other 3 guys will be in that second call out. You want to go like order of placings too, or just call outs?
Oh, we can do placings too. Make it a little more fun, man. Make it interesting.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Wesley in first, Urs in second, the Bull in third, Breon fourth. Was it Emilio? Is that who it was? The 7th competitor we did? Emmanuel. I'll put him in fifth. And then who are the other 2 again?
So we got Josh and then Dennis Romanov.
I'm going to go with Josh for 6th and Dennis for 7th.
Nice. So those are Nate's picks. So my picks are very similar, man. I definitely think the first call out's very self-explanatory. You've got the Arnold Classic Ohio champ, Wesley Vissers. Urs, I think, is going to be right there as well. I really hope his peak is different and he brings a different package to this show, just a little bit sharper like we're typically used to. And then I'm sure he's going to make that posing adjustment in the back double, which will definitely help him out in that shot, because that's probably, I'd say his back double was probably his weakest shot. I think Tyler said that too. So if he can make that posing adjustment, I think that does a lot for him here. So yeah, the first call out for me is going to be Wesley, Urs, Breon, DeBoule. I think that's pretty straightforward. So that's 4 of your top 5 at the Arnold Classic Ohio. Also, these guys are top 6 in the world, so very self-explanatory. So I've got Dennis, Josh, and Emmanuel in that second call out. And in terms of order, I definitely think that Wesley was much more clearly the most classic guy on stage at that Arnold Classic Ohio. Like, Ramon was really the only person who, in my opinion, was remotely close from a classic judging perspective. In terms of what type of physique I like, Breon's right there too. But in terms of classic judging criteria at the moment, Wesley is, I think, just a notch above everybody else in this lineup. I'm going to go Wesley for the win. I think it's probably going to be, I think Urs is going to make the necessary adjustments to probably widen the gap away from Breon. Although personally, I do like Breon's physique more and think he's more complete. Me, from a judging perspective, I typically would favor someone with Breon's physique over Urs's, but I do think the judges are going to pick Urs. Especially because I don't know what else Breon can do to bring a better physique. So I'm going to go Wesley 1, Urs 2. I'm going to go Breon in third still. I think he will beat Michael DeBoule, because Michael DeBoule, though he claimed he was off at the last show, comparing some of his photos, he looked just as good, if not better, than at the Austria Pro, which he won back in December. So I think Breon's going to beat DeBoule. So I got Breon in third, DeBoule in fourth. I'm going to go Emmanuel in fifth. And then I'll probably go. I think Josh is probably going to have a little bit more size than Dennis, but Dennis has a little bit better shape. I just think Josh is like in crazy condition, and that's definitely going to give him the edge. So I'm going to go Josh in sixth and probably Dennis in seventh. Those are my picks. So very similar picks between Nate and I.
Yeah, pretty similar. But like you're saying, dude, like I don't
Yeah.
know what else Breon can do to bring a better package. You said the same thing with DeBoule too. DeBoule was pretty on as well. But I don't know, it's just gonna come down to that peak. But I'm also a huge fan of Breon. And I love Breon, and I want to see him do better. I want to see him in the mix a lot more, but I don't know what else he can do. At this point, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's pretty clear now, like especially after this show, that though though it is, a subjective sport and different judges may favor different things, I think it's becoming clearer and clearer to people like what the judges are looking for in Classic too.
Yeah,
Especially,
absolutely.
especially with having like Tyler explain it, that helps a ton for me. So
Yeah, man, those videos he's been putting out have really, really helped a lot. Especially for the guys that want to comment on all these placings just because their favorite guy didn't win, or like, oh, it's bullshit. He looked way better than him, but like Tyler's breaking everything down, pose for pose, and making it very clear as to why that person plays better than their favorite person. So I think these videos have been really good that he's been doing.
So that's going to do it for our picks. Before we wrap up the show, though, definitely want to give a shout out to Nate again. I want to thank him for his time. So if you guys want to follow Nate, his tag is here, NateJ _ IFBB. Nate, you do coaching as well, is that correct?
Yeah, I coach as well. So, if you guys are interested in being coached by me, I have a business page right there. It's Vintage Aesthetics 22. Just head over to that page, click the link, fill out the inquiry form, and, we'll get to talking.
Yeah, so if you guys are classic guys or you compete, make sure you give Nate's coaching business a look. And Nate, do you want to give any shout outs to like your sponsors or anybody else watching back at home?
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, first off, I want to thank you for having me on and give me a little shout out on here. I want to thank my sponsors, Nutrex Research, and my other sponsor, a supplement retailer over here in Utah, Ambition Nutrition. Great guys, carry all the best subs out there, best brands. So if you want to check them out, Ambition Nutrition is their handle on Instagram. They ship. I don't think they go international, but anywhere in the U.S. they'll ship too. So if you're looking for subs, hit them up. And obviously Nutrex Research, great subs too. So
Awesome, man. Well, thank you guys for watching the preview today. Again, big thanks to my guest, Nate Joyner. Stick around for more updates for the Arnold Classic UK. Going to be dropping stuff in the description as things come across. Hoping for that live stream. I'll be sure to put it here in this video's description so you guys can go catch that. Make sure you follow both of us on Instagram. Catch me over there at CPC Bodybuilding. I'm going to be updating you guys with everything over there as well. But that's going to do it today, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you keep it classy. See you later.